Hey YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back. Today I'm very excited to bring a dear friend of mine onto the channel, Dr. Erika Faircloth. Dr. Faircloth is currently a chief medical resident and soon to be cardiology fellow at Hartford Hospital. And we're bringing her on today to talk about cardiology. So welcome, Dr. Faircloth.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, very excited to have you. I guess we'll get started here. So, Erika, today we want to talk about why and how to become a cardiologist. And, given that you've gone through the whole process, I think that you're great for the insight of it. So, tell us a little bit about cardiology. What exactly is the study of cardiology?
Yeah, so cardiology is really the study of heart and the vascular system. It's a very dynamic specialty, and it's goes all the way from preventative care all the way to the most critically ill. It's a very, very special specialty, I think, and I think you think so as well.
Yeah, definitely a little biased as well. Excited to be joining you in fellowship this coming summer. It'll be a blast. So, why exactly did you choose cardiology?
Well, one of the reasons is exactly what I was explaining. So it's a field that is specialized and you're really only focusing on the heart, but it really ranges all the way from being in clinic and taking care of relatively healthy patients, preventing severe illness, all the way to taking care of the most critically ill. And I love that spectrum of care. I like being able to create that bond with a patient, which you can in the outpatient environment. There's also so many different things that you can do with it, from heart failure to interventional to preventative. And so it's a very dynamic field.
Yeah,
Very interesting research, lots of things that are going on. So
Yeah, it's a very research heavy field. I agree with you. And I think it's so cool how diverse the field can actually be. You go into cardiology wanting to be a general cardiologist, but may subspecialize in one of those fields that you mentioned. I think one of the really cool things too, and you kind of touched on it, is the ability to follow a patient throughout the life of the patient, right? So you could be working inpatient one day inside the hospital and you have a new patient come in with a heart failure exacerbation. They've never been diagnosed with heart failure before. Not only do you get them over that hump of that acute illness, but then you get to follow them in the clinic and really see their life progress and actually improve. And it's really rewarding to be able to see the difference that you've made. So I'm glad that you brought that up. I think that's a huge thing that may be overlooked within the field.
yeah, absolutely. It can make a huge impact on patients' lives in many different aspects of cardiology, from heart failure, where you can really make their symptoms better controlled, to things like having a heart attack and you can instantaneously fix it. And then you can work on their lifestyle changes to improve their outcomes going forward. So I think you have a lot of opportunity to make a big impact.
I couldn't agree more. And it's one of the fields within medicine that's actually quite procedurally heavy if you want it to be.
Yep.
So for people that are really interested in procedures, there's so many within the field of cardiology that are available to you. Even as a generalist, you're able to do diagnostic catheterizations and really get your hands dirty if that interests you, which is quite entertaining and interesting.
Absolutely. And so you can do that, but you can also go towards more of like imaging and doing things, and you can really make it what you want for yourself. I mean, you get the training when you're doing a cardiovascular fellowship in everything, but you can kind of delve deeper into the areas that you find intriguing. So
Couldn't agree more. So tell me a little bit about what it takes to become a cardiologist, like personal characteristics of a person, as well as like the actual from college to med school and training. Tell us a little bit about what it takes to become a cardiologist.
it's a long road, but I think a lot of things in medicine are. So obviously you do your 4 years of college, pre-med studies, and then you do your 4 years of medical school, and then you do internal medicine for 3 years. And then after internal medicine, you apply for cardiovascular fellowship, which is 3 years. And then if you want to do some sub training in one of those fields that we kind of talked about, it's anywhere between 1 and 2 or so years extra on top of that. So long road of training. I think the key is to love what you do. And I think that's true for any specialty in medicine. And I know for me, I always knew I wanted to do cardiology in the back of my head, but I did go into internal medicine with a very open mind, discovering different things, what I loved, what I didn't like. And I always came back to cardiology. But it's so interconnected with the other specialties. So really learning those things is important. Learning nephrology, learning general internal medicine, learning pulmonology, those are all very, very important. So it's important to be open-minded and a good internist to be a good cardiologist, is my opinion.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that kind of goes for any subspecialty within
For
medicine.
sure.
In order to
For sure.
succeed in that subspecialty, you really have to excel and succeed in internal medicine because everything is so interconnected. Even when you get into these really unique subspecialties like electrophysiology or interventional cardiology, where you're so subspecialized, it's important to have a broad knowledge of the whole field of medicine in order to be, great and really help your patients. So I'm glad you brought that up. What are some plans for your career, Erica? What are you leaning towards?
So I don't know. I love general cardiology, and I do have interest in heart failure and preventative cardiology, but I'm not really sure. Again, I'm going in with an open mind, going to test the waters and see what sticks. I think all of it is super interesting, and I can't wait to learn all of it. But I think those seem to really spark my interest. I did research during my residency on preventative things, and I really fell in love with that. And I think that's somewhere where I'm headed, but we'll see.
That's awesome. And so you mentioned research a little bit. How important is research in bolstering your CV when you're actually applying to fellowship or considering a field, a career in cardiology?
It's definitely important. I mean, I think the most important thing is to be a good doctor and care about your patients and learn about the field, but it's definitely one of the specialties that I think does place more emphasis on research and being involved in the improvement of the field as a whole, which I think is the bottom line of research. So you definitely should be partaking in some sort of research, whether that be case reports, presenting at conferences, being part of a ongoing study. I wrote my own IRB it's kind of a QI project that stemmed from clinic, and it's been going on for the last 2 years or so, and I was able to present some of that data. So I think really getting involved in the field and showing your interest, but also the future of the field is very, very important.
When I was an intern, I thought that I had to write an IRB and I had to do this huge research project in order to even be competitive to apply to cardiology. But as I progressed in my internal medicine training and spoke to some practicing cardiologists, including program directors and current fellows, they really pointed out that you don't have to have a huge project. It definitely helps, don't get me wrong, but just making sure that you're contributing to the education or the progression of medicine and cardiology in some way. So whether that's a case report or a poster presentation at a conference, whether it be local, regional, or national, they all really help.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really just getting yourself involved in the field and in medicine in general. It shows your interest and your future goals. So
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your work-life balance. I know it's very difficult in medicine and medical training to have a life outside of medicine, but tell us something that interests you and that you do outside of medicine.
it's so important to have a work-life balance. We always throw those terms around, but what does it even mean? I found through my internal medicine training that the way to make it happen is to make it happen and make that a priority in your life. I love medicine. I love my patients, and so easily you can get just into the medicine to forget your outside life, and that's not good for anybody because you can't take care of your patients unless you're taking care of yourself too. So making that a priority has really allowed me to have a very varied life, and I think that's important. For me, it's hanging out with my significant other, hanging out with my family, my friends, playing games. I love to paint. I love to do things outside and hang out and just really relax. I am a big musical theater person, although COVID has made that a little bit difficult. But once it gets better, I'm hoping to get back to watching some theater for sure.
Well, it seems like you stay quite active outside of work, and I think that's fantastic because it definitely helps you relax. Erica, this has been great. I've really enjoyed having you on here today. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
I mean, no, I think cardiology is awesome. I cannot wait to start my journey with you in cardiology. Learn. I think in general for medicine, we all are lifelong learners, and we all realize there's so much to know. And even when you are the most subspecialized of the subspecialty, you still have so much more to go. And we have so much room in medicine to make a big impact on life. So I'm excited to impart on that journey.
Me too. Well, Erica, again, thank you so much for joining me today. You've been fantastic. I think people are really going to enjoy this. For everybody who's watching, I hope you enjoyed. I will tag Dr. Faircloth in the bottom here if you have any questions. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. And until next time, peace out.